So Manchuria has pretty much fallen to the Soviets, which is giving the Soviets a massive amount of additional resources and things up here. Because Manchuria is quite valuable. Chromium, steel, tiny bit of oil, aluminium, steel. And if the Soviets get Korea, they'll get tungsten and steel as well. And then the real question is, who's going to get Japan? Are the Allies going to do a successful invasion of Japan here? I don't know. It does look like the Soviets are going to get Korea, and I doubt that the Soviets will let it free, unless they puppet it. Tokyo is being invaded. Tokyo is being invaded. Alright, let's switch over to the Japanese and just take a look. Oh, no, they repulsed it. Quickest invasion ever! I'm going to switch back to... We'll take Bhutan this time instead of Nepal. So I don't have the constant naval invasion alert, naval invasion alert, naval invasion alert, naval invasion alert. Is this modded? Nope. This is just a historical game, but I'm playing an observer at the moment, just letting things happen. But I was playing as Australia. And we did our part. We kept everything secure. It looks like they're pushing back across the islands, which is something I never did. And they've taken all the islands over here, so that's completely secure. So we should start seeing Australian forces beginning to appear in other sectors. In fact, Australia abandoned this completely. This is just the Dutch and the French and the Indians. Ah, but the Australians retook all of this, and they're now fortifying all of the ports here. And I guess they've changed manpower law. Yep, all adult serve, something I never bothered doing. What are they producing, out of interest? Infantry equipment, support, motorized. Far fewer planes. They kept the scout plane. They're building a lot of scout planes. That's interesting. And they're building my cruisers, or at least continuing their construction. I don't know if they'll continue. They're trying to build some mine layer destroyers and some interwar bombers. That's optimistic. And they've also built a bunch more templates, probably infantry templates. Are they actually deploying anything? No. And yeah, they're prepping a load of naval invasions. So Australia's definitely gone on the offensive now. Meanwhile, Korea is about to fall. Yes, Okinawa has fallen to the Soviets. Oh, now that's interesting. The Soviets might actually get Japan here. That would certainly change the balance of power in the Pacific. What are they researching? Keypoint bombing, interwar artillery, and night vision. Much the same as what I was doing, except they're actually getting artillery, which I never bothered with. Yeah, I could definitely have done more with the land armies. I think I could have afforded not upgrading cruisers at all. Possibly gone for like some cheap submarines, and then invested more in land units, get some marines and things. Because those cruisers were, I will be quite honest, underwhelming. And we're also just lend-leasing a bunch of stuff, so we're sending guns... No, support equipment to Bulgaria. Loads of guns to... No, motorized, in fact. Guns and motorized to China. Meanwhile, Greece is getting support equipment and motorized. And Malaya. What are you sending Malaya? Support equipment to reduce their autonomy. And what are you importing? And from whom? basically the same people I was. No oil imports. How are you managing to do that? Your ships aren't sailing, that's how. Oh, another naval invasion. This is a bigger one. And if they actually manage to take Nagasaki, which they have a port. Okay, the Allies are in Japan. They're also going for Osaka right now. And they've taken Osaka. 2 ports in Japan. I think it's all over for the Japanese at this point. So Korea did fall to the Soviets. And the Japanese did not peace out. Let's switch over to the Japanese perspective and see their last stand. Though I'm not sure how well this is going to go, because they do have a couple of troops up here, but nothing around here. And it does look like the Kyushu Island is going to fall to the Americans. There's a big push going on at the moment. Massive naval battles going on. It's the Royal Navy. The Royal Navy versus the Japanese. Where's the Americans? Oh, America's cut Japan in half. Kyushu, meanwhile, has almost fallen, although they're not doing anything about the crossing here. Neither side is. And for some reason, the Japanese Pride of the Fleet is out here on his own. But with the main High Seas Fleet sitting there, just being like, go on, attack it! It's there! Go on, attack it! So the Japanese have managed to mass a fair army to basically control everything north of Osaka, including Kyoto. Right? Trying to get my Japanese geography correct. Yeah, that's Osaka. That would be Kyoto right there. Tokyo's up there. It looks like the Americans are going for... Oh, big fight, big fight, big fight, big fight. I want to see this. So we have the Japanese High Seas Fleet against the Royal Navy. 4 British battleships versus many more, plus 5 carriers. The Pride of the Fleet almost sunk. $440 damage taken before the main fleet could arrive. So the British took the bait, is basically what I'm seeing here. Full screens on both sides. The British definitely coming out of that one worse, having lost a bunch of lighter ships, but no capitals. And there we go. Kyushu has now fallen. America making absolutely no plans to go after the entrance and the crossing here. Which could definitely be the site of a Japanese counter-offensive if they wanted. Okay, so Kokura has now been guarded. The Japanese now being the ones who aren't guarding the straight crossing. So they're sending some cavalry. Nope, they're just sitting in Hiroshima. Interesting, they're setting up lines, but no, like, offensive lines. Also, their fuel is dangerously low. Yeah, that's why their fleet's just sitting here. Because every time they leave port, it's basically just fuel wiped out, gone. The end. And I'm guessing that they're being absolutely obliterated by bombing. Yeah, they are. Wow, they've taken a lot of damage from strap bombers. Where are they coming from? Well, basically everywhere else. Japan is down to basically just Japan. Okay, a Japanese counter-offensive has begun. Going for Osaka, but failing to take it. The Americans, meanwhile, trying to attack into here and failing. Japan is trying to push out, but not really achieving very much in doing so. The Americans staying pretty well put in Kyushu at the moment. Where is Japan getting their oil? Venezuela, probably? Nope. No imports currently. They have no convoys to actually buy any. So I think this is just what they had stored. Yeah, they had a massive amount stored. They have a lot of fuel capacity. But every silo that gets bombed is that much less fuel that they can keep. So I think that this will effectively be all over in 12 days, 11, 10. Because I'm guessing that they have an air force that's trying desperately to defend. Yeah, they have 1,200 close air support currently fighting for Japan, but they have no fighters. None. Which is why they're being strap bombed so heavily. To try and deal with the invasions, I guess. And here we go, the Americans have come off of Kyushu, arriving in Chogoku. Oh, British naval invasions have started to occur in multiple different areas, so the Brits aren't really doing much to, you know, move. This is the slowest naval invasion I've ever seen. It's awful. I guess the Allies are just waiting for significant reinforcement. They're dedicating a lot of troops to pushing the Brits out, which is a big distraction against the real threat, which are the Americans, because the Americans actually have ports and can supply themselves. The Brits don't and can't. Did Yamamoto die in this, or is he still in charge of the Navy? The Navy currently has no Chief of Navy. The Chief of Staff is Sugiyama. So the Japanese do look like they're going to be able to successfully beat the Royal Navy's, Royal Marines invasion. However, fuel's gone. Units are now using whatever fuel they have left in their tanks, and then that is it. Which probably means Air Force is getting absolutely obliterated, because they have nothing to actually fly with. Wow, those are some skilled air wings. Naval battle going on. Japanese Navy not leaving port though, so this is the French fleet currently fighting against the one heavy cruiser that the Japanese actually have out at sea. That heavy cruiser actually tanking it all. Returning to port for repairs, but not sinking. By the way, Gene Hackman is the Polish General Perfection. Yeah, Market Garden was great. Sorry, Bridge Too Far was great, wasn't it? Such a good film. I need to see that again myself. Okay, so now it looks like the American attacks are going on. They've taken more of the island up here. They've actually united with the British attack. The Americans have just broken the Japanese ciphers. It looks like this is the big push. What was that with Spain? Nothing. I was just like, please don't be joining now, Spain. Please. Just don't. Just don't. Alright, so Japan has almost capitulated. Basically, the only thing keeping them in the war at this point is Tokyo. They do have some fairly significant forces defending this area, but nobody in Tokyo proper. The first naval invasion against Tokyo, and it's all over. So we just need the Australian naval invasion of Tokyo. Your old music teacher had an extra role in Bridge Too Far. That's cool. So happy I just finished an important conference call. I rickrolled another streamer and now I can watch some Hearts of Iron. Awesome, Nico. Ooh, Guts wishes me to drink some tea. That was 15 minutes ago, but cheers. Also, the movie was shot in Daventry, 5 miles from home. Nice. My family is from the area where all of that happened, Arnhem. It's actually quite funny. The village my mother grew up in, Wolapheza, is one of the maps on Company of Heroes. It's not very accurate. Look at Becca, thank you very much for the drink tea. I shall drink that right now. Lovely jubbly. Okay, so slowly but surely the American attack's going on. China has now formally joined the Allies. So China definitely westward looking currently. In the face of Soviet expansion in the area. It's like the southern and western hemisphere versus the Comintern. Convoy sailing. So the Japanese are putting up pretty furious defense against the Americans at the moment. But this is honestly just a matter of time. Although, Japan's got oil again. Where are you getting this? You have a bunch of convoys. Buying from Venezuela, Argentina and Peru. Basically anyone they can. Where did you get the convoys from? Are you building them? Nope. Must have been a lend-lease or something that you had available. Or else trying to buy in something else. Oh, naval invasion of Tokyo is occurring. It's being repulsed successfully for the time being. The Allies needed to get in a bit earlier, but they are starting to get some real surrounds going on Tokyo, and the AI has just deleted all of their lines down here. Oh no, the AI is pulling an AI and just abandoning this front. The only reason they're still fighting is because they're being pinned by the Americans attacking them. AI's got to AI. They've decided that this line is far more important to defend. And there it is. It is over for Japan. So the Soviets took 2 states. China took 10. China actually took Manchuria. Interesting. Guangxi took 2. They took over Vietnam. Menguko was annexed. Democratic Republic of Afghanistan was annexed by the Soviets. Free Democratic People's Republic of Manchuria was puppeted, which is that tiny little bit down here, which is a Soviet puppet. The Greater Ponpai Union State, the Iranian Communist Authority, Democratic People's Republic of Korea. So North Korea is all Korea. United Communes of Mariana, People's Republic of Cambodia, the Iraqi People's State, and the Japanese Shogunate. Japan is part of the Chinese United Front. Japan joined the Chinese. The Guangxi part, not China. So China is in the Allies, but Guangxi is now the leader of the rest of China, which includes Japan. That's interesting. So China joining the Allies kind of screwed China, actually. That could have been a properly unified China plus Japan. Interesting. That would have been really interesting, actually, if Japan and China were basically a neutral third party in the Cold War. Anyway, we still have about half an hour of this stream to go, so I think there really is just one thing that we could do at this point. And I think it's probably fairly obvious what I'm about to do. I'm going to give both sides maybe a month or so just to refactor everything and just get themselves back into positions, because there shouldn't be any wars going on. Nope. The world is at peace. January 1947 for the first time. Colinas requests that I drink some tea. And so I shall. This also gives the Japanese a little bit of time to rebuild everything. They did keep their navy. So China has a huge navy at the moment. I don't think Turkey is in the Allies. No. Soviets are just doing naval production. They're done with their focus tree. Oh. Sweden just joined the Allies, but Britain is going after Iraq. Iraq, I think, is in the Comintern. It's going to be Britain that starts it. And China is still in the Allies, doing construction battalions. Guangxi is doing construction engineering. I'm wondering if any of these guys are going to start anything against each other. Japan's just doing construction. So it does look like China is going to be fighting against the Soviets. It's just going to be large parts of China and Japan are going to be neutral. So yeah, Churchill going to be starting World War III. The only problem is, now here's an interesting question. United Kingdom. It's going to be easier if I just click on you. Is currently on all adult serve with 4.6 million. The United States is on service by requirement with 200,000 manpower. Truman's in charge. So they're going to have to go to all adult serve fairly soon. France is actually on extensive, so France is probably looking their healthiest right now. West Germany is on extensive with only 25,000, so they are going to have to upgrade. Then we've got East Germany on limited with 13, so East Germany's not looking too bad either. Poland's probably okay. Oh no, service by requirement, 4.7 million, they're fine. Soviets, this is the big question. Service by requirement with 273,000 left. So when they go to all adult serve, that is going to be an extra 10% population. But that's a lot of people they've lost already. India, still volunteer only. Still independent, though only just. So we may well see an independent India very, very soon. Australia, currently sitting on service by requirement, 250,000. Australia is actually looking fairly okay. China, limited with 14 million. China alone being lend-leased equipment by Britain, France, and the US could probably beat the Soviets. Because the Soviets bled so hard during the war. Oh yes, we do. We have the Tibetan Empire, which is fascist. The Allies are definitely getting themselves ready for this attack. What the hell is up with that unit? Oh, it's a Polish volunteer. Now the thing which is going to be in the Soviets' favor is the fact that they just have a lot of divisions ready in the field. Yeah, they have 2.8 million manpower already in the field, but they did lose like 15 million, I suspect. Whereas Britain has got 1 million in the field. USA has got 2 million in the field. China has got 1.2 million in the field. Yeah, it's got to be China that causes them the problems. I mean, they're kind of lucky that their front is going to be relatively limited. The Soviets went after Turkey first. Interesting. Xinjiang joined the Comintern. So a large part of China did just join the Comintern. But this is still independent. Chinese United Front is just shrunk. And now the Soviets are going to be busy with Turkey, and Turkey did not join the Allies. Not yet, anyway. Come on, that British focus must be finished by now. Yeah. The Anti-Non-Contact Committee. What's that? They never developed the Raj? Oh, that's harsh. I mean, they did eventually go on and develop Australia, apparently, I guess, at some point. Well, there it is. Mine laying and mine sweeping. Speak to the Australians about that. doesn't look like the Allies care about the fact that Turkey is under attack. And the Turks are actually doing a remarkably good job holding the Soviets off. I mean, this is the really, 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 really rough part of Turkey that they're fighting over. This is just historical, yeah. This is basically the aftermath of my Australia game. I decided to go into observer mode and just leave this on maximum speed, just to see what happens. Because the world at this point is looking like this. So we've got the Allies, we've got the Comintern. It's just too bad like the focus trees and the tech tree doesn't go further. Do I want to prod the Allies into action? I mean, I was kind of hoping that their intervention in Iraq would do that. I think I might still cause a situation. In fact, I could have just clicked on England, couldn't I? Yes. That's all I needed to do. Alright, so let's view this from the perspective of the almighty Bhutan. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. The whole world's just like, gotta think about this for a second. Ooh, man, this is moving slowly as the entire world gets called in. The British-Albanian War. Yes. So many people have yet to be called in. It's going to be interesting to see like number of divisions and amount of industry on either side when everybody's been called in, and this is taking a while. Yeah, Turkey joined the Allies. I'm not surprised by that. Attacking Turkish troops in the mountains, suicide as attrition will wipe you out. Yeah, this is one of the hardest borders to push. This is probably what would win the fight here for the Turks. Sorry, for the Soviets. Okay, we're starting to get speed back up again. So let's take a look. Even with very large parts still not joining the war on either side. In fact, Albania is about to fall already. Yeah, I think that this is going to be very one-sided. So there are probably about 1,200, 1,300 divisions versus 600. And I'm guessing that's a 3. So probably about 2,500 industries versus 1,300. So the Allies effectively have double. Oh, they'll join. Slowly but surely. It just takes a minute for everyone to get called in. Who are we playing next? I don't know. I'll need to take a look at the NSEG mod and see what I want to do.